Hello everyone, this is Seav. This is my new series of coaching session. In the series, I will be giving out as many information that I know about the in-game mechanics and in-game tricks. I might also be wrong in my discovery, so I'm open for discussion about what others found. The series will be a longer video than the other, and I'll try to add timestamp so you could quickly jump on the sections that you want to watch. I will also use English for this series to reach a more universal viewers. I'll add other subtitles for those who might not understand English, but it may take a while. You can also support me by submitting the subtitles via the link in the description below. So for this video, I will divide it into several sections, which are the basics, the myth, and the tips. Special thanks to Yandere, one of my campmates in Anubis, for giving me the idea for creating this video. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to my channel, and I hope you could find something useful from this video. Alright, so let's get going. Okay, so let's start with the basic. So auxiliary is an equipment which is unlocked at level 30 that could give you more attribute and makes you stronger. Auxiliary weapons are limited to melee weapons and shield, and it will give different effects depending on what kind of equipment that you use. The auxiliaries are useful because it gives additional attributes such as increased attacks for melee weapons and increased armor for shields. You can also activate certain passive skill if you have it on your auxiliary. So we will take a look at what kind of attribute that auxiliary will give. You can see on the screen that we have a barbed wire bat, which has 39 attack power, and it gives 4 additional attack power as an auxiliary. So it gives around 10% of its normal attack stats for attack power and 20% of its normal stats for crit chance and damage bonus. Higher level equipment means that it will give a higher damage bonus as well, such as the Saw Blade, as it have around 100 base attack, so it gives around 10 attack power. But if you increase it to 105, it will round it up into 11. So that's the weird things about this percentage, that it is actually rounded up, which means that if you have a 103 attack power Saw Blade, it will only give additional 10 attack power. But if it have around 105 or 106, it will give 11 additional attack. Other basic attributes such as critical bonus and damage bonus will be retained in the auxiliary. The stats from the attachment will also be retained and affect your stat as well. As you can see, when I attach the knob into my melee weapon, it increased the attack power, so it increased the bonus attack power as well. You can see that my Saw Blade now have 108 attack power, and it gives 11 attack power as an auxiliary. But the other stats such as increase damage to infected, movement speed, and etc. are not included in the auxiliary. But increasing the star of the weapon by the special research will also increase the power, because sometimes it gives the additional damage bonus or increase the attack power of your weapon. Okay, so now we are moving to the myth. So I got several questions about auxiliary, and I will try to explain them in this section. If you have another question yourself, please be kind to put it in the comment or DM me in the game, and I will try to debunk it for you. So the first question is, does Upgrade Plus actually increase the attribute for the auxiliary or not? Okay, so I have two identical weapons. They are the barbed wire bat. I use them because they are very cheap, and I'm pretty much broke right now. One of them will be upgraded using the Upgrade Plus with 0.6% movement speed increase, while they have 4.8% increase from their own stat. And we will see if it actually give an additional movement bonus in the auxiliary or not. I'm trying to make this test as less biased as possible. So I'm not wearing anything. I don't wear any shield, I don't wear any armor, I don't wear any weapon, and I don't eat any buff. So you can see that I only have my base movement speed from the combat skill, which is 6% increased movement speed, and there are no cozy or one buff which usually increase the movement speed by 5%. Then we will put the weapon in the auxiliary slot. So for this non-upgraded version, you can see that there aren't any buff, any stat that indicates that it have a movement speed increase, and you can see that my stat is still 6% movement speed increase. Then we change it into the upgraded one, which has 0.6% increase from the upgrade plus, but as you can see here, there aren't any increase from the auxiliary as well, so I still have my 6% movement increase. Then I'll show you that if I put this into the main weapon slot, it actually increased my movement speed from this upgraded version. I think yes, this is the upgraded version. It increased the movement speed by 11.4% now, and the non-upgraded version only increased for 10.8%. So this question showed up as the upgrade plus stats, also displayed in the auxiliary window, but based on this test, we found out that the upgrade plus doesn't actually give any stat at all. So the answer for this myth is a big no. Okay, for the next question we have, does the passive skill from the auxiliary gives any effect or not? For this one, it's quite tricky, as you cannot see the effect of the passive skill from your interface, but we can test it by trying to deal damage into the enemy. I think the easiest one to trigger is the unparalleled passive, which increases 50% damage if you have no ranged weapon in your quick slot. So for this one, I will be using two almost identical auxiliary, which are of course barbed wire bat. One of them have the unparalleled buff, while the other doesn't have it. I also make sure that they increase the same attack, so I'm not going to compare a saw blade with barbed wire bat because they have different increased attack. We will also use several weapons and take the body damage into the enemy, so there shouldn't be any bias with the headshot there. So let's go ahead. Okay, so now we are in Redwood Town. We are going to deal the damage with the unparalleled buff into the zombies here. I'm going to use my 3-star arc and my 4-star KSG with the unparalleled and without the unparalleled barbed wire bat. I'm not going to use the saw blade because it has a higher increased attack attribute, so we will skip it. Now I'm going to equip my barbed wire bat alpha, which only increase my attack power by 4. And when I try to deal the damage using my 3-star arc, it will give 44, 54, 39, 39 and 54 damage into the zombie without the unparalleled buff. Then we will change it into the unparalleled one, and let's see how much the difference. It should give us around 50% damage bonus. So with the unparalleled active, we are putting a non-range weapon into the quick slot. Can deal 61 and 46. Yeah, 46 and 61 damage with the unparalleled buff. So there's actually around 10% or 15% increase in damage. Now I'll show you that this unparalleled buff is actually active. when I change my shortcut, you can see that we are back into the 39 and 54 damage. Now I will try to use my KSG because it have a more stable damage than the arc. We are starting with the unparalleled one, and we deal 52 and 98 critical damage. That's for the unparalleled one. Now without the unparalleled, we are changing into the alpha again. We only got 47 normal damage and 88 critical damage. So there's also an increase in the damage with the unparalleled buff. So the answer for this question is yes. Okay, so last things is I'll be giving you tips to increase your damage and your attribute with auxiliary. And from our discussion and test before, here are my tips. First one, get the highest level weapon as possible for your auxiliary, because it will increase your attack higher. Like if you have a barbed wire bat, it only increase 4 or 5 attack power, but if you have a saw blade, it will increase it by 10 or 11 depending on the attack. And then now your breakpoint, as I said earlier, it will give you around 10% of increased attack and 25% of increased critical chance and damage bonus, but it will be rounded up if it goes beyond 5. So if you, for example, if you have a 104 attack saw blade, it will only increase 10 attack, but if you have a 105 attack saw blade, it will increase your attack by 11. And you could get either a higher attack weapon, like moving from a barbed wire into a saw blade, or moving to a cutting edge, or you can enhance your knob. So by installing your attachment into your melee weapon, it also increases the attack and the bonus attack. Another things that you can do is to increase your own special research, or you can buy a higher star weapon from the market, because like a 0-star saw blade won't give you any critical chance, but a 4-star saw blade will give you increased 7% critical chance, and it still doesn't include the bonus from special research, which usually gives you damage bonus. So if you are a warrior type, it's very worthy to increase your own special research. The last things that you can do is to increase your attachment level. This might be the least things to do for a non-warrior class player, but from what I've observed, increasing your attachment will also give you additional damage bonus. If you have less, or you don't have a lot of resources to put into your melee attachment, you could focus on your sculpture. That is my suggestion for you, because it gives you additional damage bonus. Or if you are a warrior type, you can also increase your knob, but I think it's harder to get the latest knob, and it will be hard to increase your knob if it's still a basic knob. But if you are having like lots of materials, you can also increase your hanging tassel, but it only increase your critical chance, which doesn't actually affect your damage as much, because you can increase it from your light weapon attachment as well. So I suggest to increase your sculpture. Okay, that's all for now. I hope you enjoy my coaching section. If you have anything that you want to ask, you can leave a comment in my video, or you can DM me in the game. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you on the next video.